Hello and welcome to Marblob. This is going to be a guide about, the entirety of Marblob. This is not an easy game, and most of my mistakes have been edited out in post, and this whole commentary is done in post, so it's not really live, but I'm going to be explaining some of the more tricky parts of this. As for the game itself, it's made by the creator of another game called Garn47. And it's not... I guess it is pretty much tied to it. It was made years before Garn47 ever came to fruition, but yeah. Let's get into it now. So the first few levels of this, if you have played Garn47, you will notice that these first few levels are directly reused in Garn47. So if you play that, you already know what to expect from these first levels. For the most part. I'll get to that in a minute, but for now, the movement. It's pretty simple. You just control this silly little red ball, and it's awesome. It just goes around fucking bouncing. And, well, do be careful with it. High speeds and stuff can cause it to kind of like clip into things. Like, if you go too fast, you could clip right into that wall I slammed into there. And yeah, it's nothing that bad though. This level is kinda that bad though. We'll get to that in a second though. And if you've seen Garn47, you'll be like, what do you mean this level wasn't that bad? And it was kinda long, but it wasn't really that complicated at all. And if you haven't played Garn47, you'll be like, why the hell do you keep mentioning this? I'm just trying to look at this silly little ball game. What? Oh yeah, I probably should have mentioned much earlier that the lack of sound is intended by the game. There's no actual sound, but here we are at the part. So watching this, here's the part that differs from Garn47. This wall is much higher than it was in Garn47. And, well, the key to this is getting just a speed boost, which makes your jump more effective. You can do it from that distance at the end of that little walkway, but it's really not that easy. Like, it's much more precise if you do it that way. If you fail to jump, you should ideally start from the very back of this wallway, and this is how you get back if you mess it up. And here's the key. So you go against this wall, you start going forward, do not jump until you reach the end of this little part there, and then don't jump again until there, right after you bounce. Right after you start your bounce, just hold that button. This level right here relies a lot on just pure dumb luck. There's timing to everything, but it's really most effective you just keep doing it like that until it works. You're usually not going to be stuck on it too long, but it's not the easiest. As for this is another thing that looks harder than it actually is. That green thing, if it hits you, is going to push you back, and it kind of varies sometimes. Sometimes it'll push you back a ton, and sometimes you'll only be pushed back a little. And if you just keep holding right, you're going to make it. And there's also a trick that I'm doing right here that'll make it easier to get up here without having to worry about getting in the way of that. Beyond that, it's all just kind of like a game of patience and timing. Understanding the timing of everything and waiting for the right moment to strike. It looks worse than it actually is. And it's not easy, but it's not that difficult once you understand it. And then here, a fun little momentum puzzle. Look at that. You can launch yourself all the way to the end, to that last stretch there. Although I don't think you're ever going to get enough momentum to launch all the way to the end. Oh, here I kind of get stuck in this wall a bit, but thankfully I unlodged myself, because that would have been really, really bad. If you get stuck in the floor, you're pretty much dead unless there's something underneath you, and there's usually nothing underneath you. This is an odd little level here, by the way. It's cool, though. I don't have that much to say about it right now, but yeah. Here the plane starts going directly up, and it has a little trick to it. So, this little rocket that comes by right here, it pushes you off. If you hold right at the right time, you can avoid being pushed off entirely, but if you do get pushed off, you want to head to where I go to here, because this is the easiest place you can jump back onto the little plane from. Just like that. You could potentially do it from the bottom of the building too, like you don't necessarily need to get up there, but it's much safer if you do that. Once you're on it, you want to stay at the front of it, because the missiles only pass by the back at this part. And here, you really just want to rush forward on this one. And this part here, yeah, you can't jump here, so you can't cheese this at all. The whole strat is just like blindly rush forward as effectively as you can. And just do it until it works, and then just go through that as fast as you can. This part is just platforming. Don't worry about it that much. Like you can go through the long way trying to balance, but if you understand the movement, it's easier to just do that. This sign is lying. Do not listen to that sign. It looks like it's the right way, because it goes on for a while, but it's a really extensive dead end. Now, at the end of here, we have this other, more difficult platforming section. Although I fail at this part much less than I do at the thin maze part, you know? Kind of reminds me of Super Mario Sunshine in a weird way. I guess because of that one level. I like the bonus levels. I forget where it was. It might have been in... No, it wasn't Serena. I'm trying to remember where it was. Might have been Rico? Whatever. Just look through it. You'll recognize what I mean eventually. The flag there is hidden in the middle. And, oh, this level. So, you control 2 balls here. But only the small ball actually matters. So, what I recommend is pushing your red ball right into the wall. Preferably not like the very edge walls. Just push it like I'm doing here. So it gets stuck in a weird little corner under the map. Like it gets kind of stuck in the floor. And once that's done, well, focus on your ball. You can jump up there through, luck. Like, the bounce heights are never consistent. I think there's a rhyme or reason to it, but I don't completely get it. And here, there's actually a fake wind sequence that can happen there. It happened on my first run, but since then I've never been able to get it to trigger again. And I've tried. It might just happen if you fail enough times or something, but I've gotten good enough that I don't meet the requirements for that anymore. I show it off at the end of this video. But, yeah. Here is the final boss. Like, I would count this as a boss, and I know I've mentioned Garden 47 enough, and I will mention it again in a moment, but like, if anything really carries the energy Garden 47 has, it is this area. Like, this just screams something from that. Everything else in the game is cool, but this just really carries that energy that Floombo stuff really radiates. Now, this part here you want to linger back because of that. That hand is gonna come out of nowhere. It does not like you. And after that, well, there's no other surprises like that. You just gotta keep up. That's kind of a leap of faith. But yeah. And at the end of this, reveals a ladder. Cool. And here we are, the final level. This is the only one other than those first 3 that's in Garden 47. First 4 if you count the menu, because that's in the Garden 47 too, but yeah. And then the windscreen. I really wanted to show off the fake windscreen first, but like I genuinely can't figure out the requirements, even though I got it once. But this isn't everything. If we come back here, there's actually a secret in the menu. You might have noticed at the beginning that I was controlling the ball throughout the whole menu. And that actually leads to something. If you fall, you can't get back up, because, the jump button will immediately put you back in the game, so, be careful. But once you get in, welcome to the bonus level. It's very simple. It's an interesting little experience, but it really isn't anything big. Yeah, like, if anything, it honestly kind of makes me think of Roblox games, like Roblox little boat levels. Definitely more intricate than those usually are, especially since those are like kind of ingrained with classic Roblox, where, it wasn't really that technically advanced. Up here, this boat. You want to jump to it as soon as it gets close enough. It gives you time, but don't take too much time, because your boat will start sinking once it starts moving. So if you stay on that, you're pretty much dead no matter what. It hits a rock here, but nothing that major. It looks like it tilts for a second, but then it steadies. Just kidding. Yeah, it's not safe. Shh. It's evil. It's like genuinely evil. I somehow I managed to beat this on my first try, like my first ever time doing this level. I don't know how, but I did. I'm proud of myself for that one, even though it's one of the easier levels. Yeah, that's all the proper levels. However, there's some other secrets. If you press B, welcome to the battle arena. There are 2 balls here, and, the blue ball is player controlled using the arrow keys and 0 on the numpad to jump. And the arena slowly shrinks as it goes on, because, it's battle mode. You're expected to finish it pretty quickly. It's not very fleshed out, but it doesn't really need to be. When the arena gets small enough, your ball starts sinking into the ground, and it pretty much is fated to end in a draw. It looks like the blue one gets stuck in the bottom, but The red one fell out. It's possible it could get a stalemate, but yeah. Pressing 2 while on the main menu puts you in 2-player mode, which, brings that blue ball into the main game. Split screen, co-op, controls the same way. Once you get to the end of the level, like, either ball can get to the end of the level, it just brings you here. But if you press 3-player mode, no split screen. I didn't move the ball immediately, the green ball, but the green ball controls through IJKL, and it uses the colon button to jump. And one last secret, if you press C at any point in the game, pretty much anywhere, this happens. It does this as long as you're holding C. If you let go, it goes back to this. It's weird, and I think it kind of has a slight chance of crashing the game. This game just has an easy chance of crashing at any time. And now the fake windscreen, which I opened up directly in Blender to show off. Again, this can happen at the end of the 2-ball level, but it's not consistent. I genuinely can't figure out how to do it. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'm not going to keep talking much longer because I'm out of footage. Goodbye.